Hey everybody, got a pretty cool video today. This one's getting a little personal. Got my own personal 67 Chevelle that I've had since I was 13 years old, which I got a million things to share about as far as what I've learned in hot rodding and everything else. And this car actually kind of started my whole hot rod journey that I've been through my whole life, and don't ever see it ending. So we got my personal 67 Chevelle, which I'm going to talk a little bit about today, and then there'll be way more videos about this car. And but today's video is basically just firing these cars up, and I got another car to talk about in a second. But we've been sitting for 8 months, and just what I'm going to do to get both of these cars running, and what it takes, because this car actually has fuel injection on it. And then if you look over here, we got my son's 1980 Elcamino. He's been waiting for about 6 months because I've been rebuilding that F-250 that's gone. And this is a project car. We're gonna take this thing from a storage bin, as you can see, to a legitimate hot rod. It's gonna take some work, but shouldn't be a big deal. Just a lot of work. He's had this car for about 2 years. We've done some brake work to it about a year and a half ago, and all the brakes are pretty set on it. It's just a matter of getting it running today. Now this has a carburetor, so I'm expecting the Chevelle to start a lot easier than this. So we'll start with the Chevelle and then move on to this car. But the plan is to rebuild pretty much the entire drivetrain on this car, starting with the transmission. Then we're gonna move on to the rear end, and then we're gonna do the engine last. And there's a reason behind that, and I'll talk more about that later. But today's video is basically just getting these things fired up after sitting for about 8 months. So stick around, we're gonna get to it, and we'll see how this goes. Okay, so all I've done so far to this car is charge the battery. So charge the battery up. I'm expecting it to fire right up. So we'll see how that goes. Being fuel injection, I don't really have to do anything but turn the key on it. So with any luck, it'll fire right up. So let's go ahead and do that. See if we can get lucky here. Chevelle was, which I'm thankful. And this one's not going to be quite as easy. You got a carburetor, but so far we've charged the battery, checked the fluids, and it's been about a year since this car has run. But one thing with the carburetor, we got to fill the carburetor up. Now this vents right to the fuel bowl, so we're just going to fill up the fuel bowl first. See if we can get some accelerator pump shot out of it. And we got, oh, there it went. Oh yeah, we got fuel. So at this point, we're going to try to start it and see what happens. This car ran and backed in here about a year ago, and all I've done is charge the battery and fill the fuel bowl. So we're going to go from there, put a little fuel down in here, and we're going to go from there. All right, moment of truth. Let's see what we got. Pump the gas once. Let off. Boom! Oh yeah! That's almost as good as fuel injection. Easy, don't rev it up. Don't rev it up. Let it run a little bit. Ticking a little bit. Look at that. Man, that's money, dude. Well, that went a lot easier than I thought it would, but it's all good. We got this. All right, we're going to talk about this car a ton, but today's video is more about the Elcamino. Fire it up. What do I do? Turn the key. Here we go. Got a lot of plans for this car. Take it from the storage bin to a legitimate street ride. But that's where we're at. Say hi, Marshall. Hello. All right, we got her cleaned up best we could. Got a lot of polishing to do on this paint because it's been sitting there getting dusty. It was in a barn for 15 years, so. But it is what it is. We got it clean, got the first layer off, and if you look down the side of it, you can see it looks a little better than it was. But obviously a lot of work to do. But it's all good. It's all a process. But the plan is, the first thing we're going to do is do the transmission. It's got a turbo 350 direct drive. We're going to put a 700 R4 trans, so we get a lower first gear, which is a 306 to 1, and 350 has like 248 to 1. So right there, it gets a lot more off the line get-go. And then with the overdrive, we get the highway not wearing out the engine. And the way I'm gonna set this up is very similar to my Chevelle. I got a 700 in my Chevelle and 410 rear gears. I think this has like 323 gears in it now. And we're gonna start with the gearing in it and then go with the motor. And I just want my son to see the difference in how much gearing can actually make the car faster as opposed to just throwing a bunch of horsepower to it. So we're gonna start with the trans, then we're gonna do the rear gears, put a posi unit in it, and then we're gonna throw some decent power to it. And this thing should be awesome. It's not gonna be as fast as my Chevelle, but it's not necessarily. This is gonna be a daily driver, drive it anywhere, drive it across the country and back if you want. So it's just gonna be a happy car. I'm thinking right now 383 with some fuel injection, and this thing will be money. Some modern AC, and we'll just go from there. But first step is to start with the trans, and the transmission's half built, which we're gonna do that basically in the next video. But this was just a video to get these cars started and get the process going, I guess. So that's where we're at. Stick around and we're gonna get to it. We're gonna shoot a video on rebuilding this entire car. So should be interesting. Okay, so we're doing a whole trans swap. So anybody that is looking to swap an overdrive trans for a 3-speed, definitely want to stick around because we're gonna go through the whole process. We gotta basically pull the 3-speed trans. We're gonna have to move the cross member because the mount will be in a different spot. And the transmission is longer, so we have to get the drive shaft shortened. And the shifter's only a 3-speed, so we gotta switch that out to a 4-speed shifter. Not sure what shifter we're gonna use. But I'm gonna go through this whole process and show you all what needs to be done when you're swapping out a 3-speed for a 4-speed. So, like I say, stick around and pretty sure you'll learn something. And we're just gonna get to it here. We did all the rear brakes on this thing. Rear brakes, front brakes, basically the whole brake system. It had a blown brake line in the rear. So what happened is other thing we got to switch on this thing. We did all new brake lines. The proportioning valve here, when a brake line blows, it forced the inside valve towards the reverse part because it had forward pressure to the front brakes, and it jammed that valve. So that valve is kind of jammed right now, and it's not getting much pressure to the rear brakes. So we just got to switch that out, and all the brakes will be money on this thing. And we're just going to go from there. And we're just going to do this one step at a time. And that should just about do it. We're going to start with the trans and then just keep moving along with this whole car. All right, so that's about what we have today for the video. This car obviously just wants to run. It actually started a little better than the fuel injected car, which I was very surprised. But this thing hasn't missed a beat today. We did a proper road test on it, no problem. Trans is shifting nice. Other than we have no overdrive and no pickup from first gear because of the gear ratio, but it's all good. We're gonna take care of business, but this thing is money. It rides nice and smooth, and we're just gonna get this car together and stick around because this entire car is gonna be rebuilt on YouTube, video by video. But so let's just get it done, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.